Hey everyone, welcome to another modern 3-man raid guide. This is a comprehensive guide and assumes you have never completed Garden of Salvation before. It is fully possible for a trio run to be your first clear. If you only need loadout recommendations or an explanation for a specific encounter, there are timestamps in the description down below. This trio is very approachable and I believe that any team can complete it with enough practice. This raid is definitely harder than Vault of Glass and Root of Nightmares, but it should be easier than all the other trios. There are no class restrictions for this raid, but you will want to have an eager-edged sword and at least one player with an area denial grenade launcher. Without further ado, let's get into it. Welcome to First Encounter. Before I explain the strategy, know that this encounter has two main mechanics: spits and tethering. Spits are the glowing boxes that the boss creates. If a player does not pick this up before it explodes, you will wipe. Once you pick up a spit, you will have a debuff called Voltaic Overflow for 2.5 minutes. If you pick up another spit before this timer expires, you will die. Tethers are how you open the door. Tethers will be immune until you kill an Angelic Hydra. Once the Angelic is dead, shoot the tether box and stand near it. This will take you into third person. You want to connect the tether to the door in order to open it. Most tethers take 3 people, but some only take 2. In order to keep this video fairly condensed, I will not be covering every single tether location. All 3-man tethers should be quite self-explanatory, and you can do this just with 3-man tethers. But if you want to know which tethers are 2-manable, there is a link in the description down below. Also, a very important trick is that area denial frame grenade launchers can activate the tether through the barrier. This means you do not have to kill the Angelic first. Essentially, the idea is that there are 3 rooms where a spit needs picked up, and 3 players. Thus, 1 player should pick up a spit in each room. The other 2 players should go ahead to the next room and clear ads, activate the tether, then just wait for the third person to come and finish the door. When you can enter the next room, a different player stays behind while the other 2 go ahead. So, for example, 1 player will stay behind in the first room while 2 go to the second room and tether, then the first player will join them to tether and open the door. Then a different player will stay behind while 2 go ahead. After grabbing the spit, this player will join them in tether, then the door will open. Then a third and final player will stay behind and grab the spit while the other 2 go ahead. However, this 4th room is a little different. You'll see there are 3 different nodes on the wall. We want to only activate 1 or 2 of those. Activating 1 node will make it so that the boss does not make more spits in the previous room, and we need that because we want to run down the timers. However, we don't want to have the wall fall right away because this means that we can't run out the timer. Basically, activating only 1 or 2 tethers will make the wall fall down on its own after a minute or so, allowing us to get the Voltaic Overflow debuffs down as low as possible. After the wall falls on its own, the person who picked up the spit first should have their debuff gone, and the person who picked up second should have it just about gone or gone. If you do not wait, it's not the end of the world, you'll just have to sacrifice an extra player or 2 to grab the final spits. Anyways, after the wall falls, follow the Consecrated Mind and make sure not to get killed by it appearing or disappearing. The 2 players without Voltaic Overflow should grab the first 2 spits. Unfortunately, the 3rd player will still have a debuff. If you are doing a flawless run, have them Alt F4 or get kicked right as they grab the spit. I've also heard that sliding into this with Antaeus Ward can be pretty good if you're on Titan and extend the amount of leniency you have. If you are not going for a flawless, however, simply have 1 player sacrifice themselves to grab the spit. If you do not kill any Cyclopses while you are grabbing the spits, you will also have completed the challenge and get an extra chest. This does not include the final stretch either. Loadout wise, just run an Eager Edge Sword and an Area Denial Grenade Launcher. Other than that, just run whatever build you like best. This will definitely take a few attempts to learn the tether locations if you've never done this before, but with some decent movement, this encounter should be fairly straightforward. There is a secret chest during this transition. Just follow this path. Summoning the Consecrated Mind is the hardest encounter to learn, but in my opinion, the most fun. It's essentially just a lot of running and a lot of ad clear. Let's start with some useful facts about this encounter. This arena is shaped like a diamond. The starting area is 1, then looking at the center, the area to your left is 2, across is 3, and to your right is 4. There are portals in each section that teleport you to adjacent locations, but they are not active right away. First, you must tether at both sections that the portal connects to open them. For example, the portal between 2 and 3 will not be active until your team has tethered at both Section 2 and Section 3. Each tether needs a minimum of 2 people to activate, and tethering gives you the Enlighten buff for 45 seconds. You need Enlighten to kill the shielded ads. Periodically, Angelic Hydras will spawn, and while they are alive, you cannot tether at that section. When an ad gets close to a relay, they will sacrifice. If too many ads sacrifice at one relay, you will wipe. There are 2 waves of ads that spawn in each ad deployment. They rotate in a clockwise direction. So, for example, it will go left then middle then right, or right then left. Once all ads are dead in each section, there will be a subside and no ads will spawn for a short period of time. Well skating, strand skating, or shutter skating are not needed at all to complete this encounter. However, if you know how to do them, they can be very useful. The main idea of this encounter is we need to activate then defend all 4 relays. I think the simplest way to explain this is to give an exact step-by-step guide for each role, then show an overview of all 3 roles at once on a single map. There are no official terms for the 3 roles, so I will be calling them Lead, Support, and Defender. Let's start with Defender. Defender has the easiest job mechanic-wise, but the hardest ad clear-wise. Essentially, they will be defending both the first and second relays. To start, tether with support at 1, then kill all but 1 ad. When the lead player and the support player have tethered at 2, kill the last ad to trigger a subside. Then, go tether with the support player at section 2. You should be done tethering roughly when the next deployment happens. From here, you will be defending both Relay 1 and Relay 2. The easiest way to do this is to sit at the portal and step through it repeatedly. This lets you watch both relays at once. For the next 2 subsides, you will be tethering at 2, then at 1 until the center opens up. To reiterate, you tether at 1, then you tether at 2 the next 3 times, then you tether at 1 again until the walls to the center fall. After tethering at 2 for the first time, you will be responsible for defending Relay 1 and 2. The lead player is up next. The lead essentially goes to a new relay, kills an Angelic Hydra and 2 barrier hobgoblins, then tethers with support. Then they just rinse and repeat. So for example, you run to 2, kill everything, tether with support, then run to 3, kill everything, tether with support, then run to 4, kill everything, and tether with support. After you tether at 4, all portals are now open. We switch from the running phase to the defending phase. You are now responsible for defending Relay 4 and will be tethering at 1. The support player is doing exactly as the role suggests, supporting both the defender and the lead. They will do this by managing the tethers. You will start by tethering with the defender at 1, then go as fast as you can and tether with the lead at 2, then tether with the defender at 2. You will then go tether with the lead at 3, then take the portal back, and tether with the defender at 2. Defend Relay 3 for this next wave, and after killing your 2 sets of ads, tether with the lead at 4. Then head as fast as you can back to 2 and tether with the defender. From here, you'll be defending Relay 3 and tethering with the other 2 players at 1. Now for the broad overview where I explain all roles simultaneously. Support and Defender tether at 1, then Support joins lead at 2. Support and Defense tether at 2, then Support joins lead at 3. After tethering with lead at 3, the support player will go back and tether with the defender at 2. They will then go back to 3 and defend it for the following wave. After clearing their ads, the support player tethers with the lead at 4, then tethers with defense at 2. After tethering at 4, all portals are opened and you've completed the first phase of the encounter, the running phase. For this next phase, the defender should be covering relays 1 and 2, support should be covering 3, and the lead should be defending 4. You will be tethering at 1 after each subside. Now Angelics will begin to spawn. While they are alive, that area cannot tether. If Angelics spawn at 3 or 4, continue as normal. If the Angelics spawn at 1, the support player will shift and cover both relays 2 and 3 while the defender handles Angelics. If the Angelics spawn at 2, the lead player will cover both 1 and 4 while the defender handles the Angelics. Basically, just add clear to the subside, then tether at 1 and repeat. One person will be defending a relay with Angelics on it, one person will be defending a relay with just normal enemies, and one person will be defending 2 relays. Once you have killed an Angelic in all 4 areas, the inner walls will fall and you can move on to the final phase. Once the walls fall, everyone should head into middle. Both shielded enemies and Angelics will spawn periodically. This means after each subside you need to tether. This part is quite simple, just kill enemies and Angelics and then tether after subsides. It will start with a single Angelic, then after the first subside 2 Angelics, then after another subside 3 Angelics. After all Angelics are dead, the encounter ends. Loadout wise, in my opinion, everyone is best off using Trinity Ghoul with its Catalyst as well as an Eager Edge Sword. Trinity is amazing for ad clear, especially when the enemies are sacrificing. The Eager Edge Sword is mainly used for movement. Special weapon wise, the support and lead player will want to run a barrier weapon to deal with the barrier hobgoblins, but the defender can use anything they want. I personally would recommend an area denial grenade launcher. Really though, you can run whatever you want here, but I would recommend having an eager edge sword at minimum. It might be hard to learn the rotations at first, but once you understand them, I think this is one of the most fun encounters in any trio. Up next, we must defeat the Consecrated Mind. This encounter will have two jobs, motes and eyes. If you are fast, someone may not have to do eyes, but more than likely, everyone will have to do both roles. Let's start with eyes. Periodically, the boss will travel down a path in the cardinal directions and drop a spit. Just like first encounter, if no one grabs this, you wipe. However, unlike first encounter, you do not just step into the spit to grab it. Instead, stepping in the spit detains you. You need to shoot the 3 glowing red eyes in a short period of time to live. If you shoot the correct ones, you will be freed and have voltaic overflow for 2.5 minutes. This is all there is to it, it's quite simple. A good tip for this is to wait for the 4th pulse of the spit. This will add an extra second or two before the boss drops the next spit, which can save you if you are going a little slow. For the motes mechanic, we need to bank 30 motes in a relay and then defend it from shielded ads. To know where to bank, look at the 4 diagonals. One relay will be glowing very brightly. This is where you bank the motes. You will start by killing minotaurs to collect motes. Minotaurs only drop 5 motes and you can only hold 10, so you should kill 2 of them. They only spawn on diagonals, and from my experience, the first minotaur always spawns on the same diagonal as the relay you are banking at. Once you have 10 motes, just head to the relay as fast as you can. Portals are still open, so you should use them if you are on a different diagonal. As soon as you get to the relay, just bank the motes and get enlightened. Now, you just need to prevent any ads from sacrificing at the relay. Each sacrifice will just mean you need to bank an additional 5 motes. The first mote player has a little bit tighter timing, so you may want to start on an eager sword and then switch to your actual heavy weapon once you get there. Hopefully, the roles make sense now. You now need to assign a player first eyes second motes, second eyes third motes, or third eyes first motes. If you are third eyes first motes, head back to the center after the second motes player is about to bank their motes. Other than that, once you know the roles, there's not much to explain. Just do eyes, then grab motes. After 30 motes have been banked, damage will start. For damage to truly begin, you will have to shoot all eyes on the Consecrated Mind. After all eyes are dead, the boss will be damageable. I recommend having one player get the left eyes, one player get the right eyes, and one player get the top eyes. Make sure you follow it, as after a short time, a barrier will appear at the end of the hallway towards the relay. This will stop you from doing any more damage if you are trapped behind it. Also, be warned, this boss is quite finicky. There are a ton of weapons and abilities that will knock it way off course. I don't have the exact list of things to avoid, but if you do, please comment it down below and I'll pin it. We also had a really weird glitch where Solar Warlocks could damage the boss after it should have gone immune. If you have any idea what might be causing this and if it's replicable on other classes or replicable at all, please comment it down below. Realistically though, even if the boss gets knocked off course or anything happens, it's not the end of the world, you might just have to do an extra phase. Anyways, after the boss goes immune, just go back to your original rolls and rinse and repeat. Loadout wise, I would recommend having a slug shotgun for eyes. I've not tested them, but I've also heard that spread shot hand cannons, glaives, and rocket pulses are very good for this. As I said earlier, the first motes player may want to run an eager edge sword until they bank if your team is struggling to get there in time. Generally though, you don't need this. Other than that, just run your typical damage loadouts. That means Golden Gun with Celestial Nighthawk or Blade Barrage with Shards of Galanor on Hunter, Thunder Crash with Curious the Falling Star on Titan, and Madiodoxia with Needlestorm or Skull of Dire Ahamkara with Nova Bomb on Warlock. This boss has a pretty big precision spot, so the refurbished sniper with aggregate charge, as well as the sniper's meditation, reload at range, and kinetic rupture on the encrypted data disk are great. 1k with catalyst and Dawn Chorus is very strong, but it can make it very hard to see. The weapon I recommend most though is Sleeper Simulant. My team had 3 of us running Sleeper, 1 of us without the catalyst, 2 of us with, and we were easily able to 2-phase the boss. So even if you don't have the catalyst, it shouldn't be a problem. Truth is very good here, but you risk blowing yourself up. There are a ton of strong damage loadouts, so really just pick your poison. If you are struggling with damage, an easy way to improve is to run the old Garden of Salvation armor with Relay Defender, or ideally, Enhanced Relay Defender. If I'm not mistaken, each Enhanced Relay Defender gives 10% extra damage per stack, while the normal mod only gives 5%. These armor sets can be focused at Hawthorne for spoils. The only requirement for this damage boost is to be within 5 meters of the relay, so you want to stay there as long as you can without being trapped behind the wall. Unfortunately, you must have already earned a given piece of armor to focus at Hawthorne, and you need the mods to have dropped in order to insert them, so you might not have them if this is your first clear. However, if you have the ability to, there is almost no reason not to run these. It's just free damage. Regardless of what you use, after killing the Consecrated Mind, you can move on to the final encounter. There is another secret chest in this transition, as well as a Monument of Triumph raid collectible. The collectible is between the two Minotaurs after the lift, and the secret chest is in the giant tree stump to the left. Just follow this path. We have now made it to the final encounter of Garden of Salvation. Defeat the Sanctified Mind. The main idea of this encounter is we need to bank 30 light modes and 30 dark modes. Left is light, dark is right. Shooting the Sanctified Mind's thigh or shoulder will open a portal to the light and dark sides respectively. In these portals, enemies will drop modes for their respective sides. In other words, enemies in the left portal drop light modes, and enemies in the right portal drop dark modes. The thigh or the shoulder should be shut again to teleport everyone in that portal back. Once you bank, you will get enlightened. Just like previous encounters, this is needed to kill shielded adds. Each sacrifice will mean you need an extra 5 motes in the relay that was sacrificed on. This isn't the end of the world, it just means that someone will have to go back into a portal an extra time. Once 30 light motes are banked in the left relay and 30 dark motes are banked in the right relay, damage will start, or at least the setup for damage will start. I'll explain more shortly. Also, the Cyclopses respawn whenever you open a portal. They are easy to kill, but they can also kill you fairly easily, so just be mindful of them. The boss will also periodically remove sections of the ground, and if you are standing on a section when it is removed, you will die. Now, let's get into the strategy. There are a few ways to do this, but I think this strategy is the easiest. Start by splitting your team into 2 groups. The team with 2 people will go left, and the team with 1 person will go right. The right player will enter the dark portal first and grab 10 motes. Once they are full, they will call out, and the outside players will shoot the shoulder again, pulling them. They will then bank in the dark relay on the right. Then they will defend both relays. Once this player has banked, the other 2 players should shoot the thigh and enter the light portal. Each player can only grab 10 motes, and only 15 motes spawn for most enemy sets, so just make sure you have 15 motes between the 2 of you. Once you have all 15 motes, call out and the outside player will pull you. Bank at the light relay, then defend both relays. After you have banked, the right player can go through the dark portal and grab 10 more motes. You basically just do this over and over. Since we need 30 motes in each relay, the overall order will go 10 on right, 15 on left, 10 on right, 15 on left, then 10 on right. If there are sacrifices, just grab some extra motes on whatever side was sacrificed on. Essentially, just enter the portal when it's your turn, and then just defend the relays while the other group is in the portal. As I said earlier, banking all 30 motes in each relay does not start damage right away, but it just gives you the ability to start it. The boss will spawn an Angelic Hydra, then hold a colored Oracle. You need to kill the Hydra to allow the tethers to be activated, then connect a tether that matches the Oracle color to the Oracle. So if the Oracle is dark, connect a dark tether to it. Same with light. After damage, just go to the relay opposite of the color you tethered. You could go to the same colored relay, but this is just good practice for a 6-man garden. Damage starts as soon as you connect the tether, and does not last long, so focus on damage as soon as possible. After damage is over, just rinse and repeat. The only changes are that the floor will already be gone and the relays will be at different spots. However, the dark will always be on the right and the light will always be on the left. Loadout wise, just as with last encounter, the old garden armor with enhanced relay defender is great. If you did not watch that section, each instance of enhanced relay defender gives a 10% damage boost while standing next to a relay. Also, if you're using old armor, make sure that you are above 300 light. We were unintentionally under light for a while, and it made it harder on ourselves for no reason. Anyways, I think the best weapon for this is Sleeper Simulant with Particle Reconstruction on the Tablet of Ruin. It's easy to use and leads to an easy 2-phase. Queensbreaker with Particle Reconstruction is also good, but I think Sleeper is better. You can also run the Refurbished Sniper with Aggregate Charge, and Sniper's Meditation, Reload at Range, and Kinetic Rupture on the Encrypted Data Disk. 1K with its Catalyst and Dawn Chorus is also very strong here. You just have to make sure you're not hitting immunes. Unfortunately, Truth does not seem to do any damage here, as its proximity detection seems to make it go off before it hits the boss. At least when we were doing it, we were only hitting immunes, so I don't recommend Truth. Super-wise, if you have a Warlock, you will definitely want a Well. Skull of Dire Ahamkara with Nova Bomb and Madiodoxia with the Needle Storm are decent, but they are a bit inconsistent with the boss's hitbox. Any hunters should be running Golden Gun with Celestial Nighthawk. If you have Still Hunt, you should be pairing it with this. Titans will want to run Curus of the Falling Star with Thunder Crash and use it as soon as the tether is complete. Really though, use whatever you want, worst case scenario, you 2 or 3 phase. And that's it. Hopefully, you have successfully trioed Garden of Salvation. If you have any questions or have any feedback that you think will make these videos better, please leave them in the comments below. I hope to make more guides, so stay tuned. If this video helped you, let me know. Also, a like, subscribe, or a comment would be greatly appreciated, but even just watching supports me a ton. If you do attempt Trio Garden of Salvation, know that with enough practice, you can definitely get it. Good luck, Guardians!